Or how does it feel to get a global medal on the global stage?
It feels amazing. It's really unbelievable. I mean, I bawl my eyes out on track.
In one of the most jaw-dropping moments of the 2025 World Athletics Championships, Ditaji Kambundji turned a stacked women's 100 meters hurdles final into her personal stage. The favorites were clear: world record holder Tobi Amusan, Olympic champion Masai Russell, and rising American star Grace Stark. Add in proven champions like Danielle Williams and Nadine Visser, and it looked like business as usual for the established names. But then came a 23-year-old from Switzerland who wasn't supposed to win and left everyone stunned. On September 15, 2025, inside Tokyo's National Stadium, Kambundji lined up in lane 3. Known as a rising talent in Europe, she had never before been the global favorite. Yet as the gun fired, she exploded out of the blocks with flawless form, attacking each hurdle with perfect rhythm. By the third hurdle, she was already pulling ahead of Grace Stark. From there, she never looked back, charging toward history and shocking the athletics world. With flawless form, she powered down the track, crossing the line in 12.24 seconds, a new Swiss national record and the joint 7th fastest time in history. The crowd roared as she clasped her face in disbelief, realizing she'd just become a world champion. "It's crazy," she said afterward. "I was giving my all." I tried to focus on myself. I was calm and pretty collected. I knew I had it in me. You could see on my face how happy I was when I realized I won. I was surprised because I knew all my competitors were able to win. Getting a personal best is nice, but all that mattered today was the title. Kambundji's victory was not just a personal triumph, it was historic for Switzerland. She became the first Swiss athlete to win a world title in the 100-meter hurdles. Her performance slashed 0.14 seconds off her own national record and placed her alongside the fastest hurdlers the sport has ever seen. For a nation known more for distance running and winter sports, this gold medal on the sprint hurdles track was groundbreaking. It added to a growing legacy within the Kambundji family as well. Her older sister Mujinga is already a world-class sprinter with 2 world indoor 60-meter titles and a 200-meter world championship bronze. But on this night in Tokyo, Ditaji stepped out of her sister's shadow and created her own legacy. "I was thinking about her a lot during these days," Ditaji said of Mujinga. "Our bond is really special. I know she will be thrilled. I am bringing home something really incredible." Right behind Ditaji was Nigeria's Tobi Amusan, the reigning world record holder and 2022 world champion, who clocked 12.29 seconds for silver. Grace Stark of the United States secured bronze in 12.34 seconds, adding another highlight to her breakout season. Olympic champion Masai Russell, considered the favorite heading into Tokyo after a dominant year that included a 12.17-second run in May, had to settle for 4th in 12.44 seconds. Russell reflected on her race with humility. "Every race is a learning opportunity. I did not get what I wanted from the biggest meet of the year, but I know the talent I have. It was just one of those days. You live and you learn." Danielle Williams, a 2-time world champion, finished 7th in 12.53, while Nadine Visser placed 8th in 12.56. Poland's Pia Skrzyszowska, the 2022 European champion, recorded a season's best of 12.49 to take 5th place. For Ditaji Kambundji, this gold medal was the crowning moment of a year that had already been exceptional. Earlier in 2025, she had won the European indoor title in Apeldoorn, setting a European record of 7.67 seconds in the 60-meter hurdles. That performance hinted at what was possible outdoors, but few expected her to rise so quickly to the very top of the global stage. Her 12.24 in Tokyo moved her into the joint 7th spot on the all-time world list. To put that in perspective, only 6 women in history have ever run faster. That list includes legends like Tobi Amusan and Kendra Harrison, making Ditaji's name now one to be spoken in the same breath. What made her victory even more impressive was the composure she displayed. Despite facing a field stacked with champions, Ditaji stayed calm and collected. "This is something I have been working for, and to run it the way I wanted to is special," she explained. "Getting a personal best is nice, but all that mattered today was the title. This result gives me a lot of motivation to work harder, but right now I am just enjoying the title. It's amazing to be a world champion." Her words reflected not only joy, but also a maturity beyond her years. At 23, she is still early in her career, and yet she already carries herself like a seasoned professional. The Kambundji sisters are now one of the most remarkable athletic families in Europe. Mujinga has long been the face of Swiss sprinting, carrying the national flag in global finals. But Ditaji's win expands that legacy into hurdles, giving Switzerland an unexpected powerhouse in women's sprinting. At the stadium, her parents and aunt were in attendance, making the victory even more special. "My family is here in the stands. It feels amazing to share this moment with them," Ditaji said. "Memories from Tokyo will always be amazing for my family." Ditaji's rise also shakes up the global hurdles hierarchy. Before Tokyo, the conversation was dominated by names like Amusan, Russell, and Stark. Now, Kambundji forces herself into that mix. She is no longer the underdog. She is the reigning world champion, and every rival will treat her as a threat moving forward. Grace Stark acknowledged the competitiveness of the field. Getting on the line with the other great women is amazing. I think it's such a great thing happening in our sport and for women because I feel women's sports aren't as big. Her words highlight what Ditaji's win represents. A shift not only for her career, but also for the visibility of women's athletics. Having a Swiss athlete on top of the world stage broadens the reach of the sport and inspires athletes from nations not traditionally known for sprinting dominance. The 100-meter hurdles is one of the most unpredictable events in track and field. The margin for error is razor thin. One clipped hurdle can end a dream. That's why Ditaji's flawless execution in the final was so breathtaking. In a race where Olympic champions, world record holders, and seasoned veterans stumbled under the weight of expectation, a young Swiss athlete stayed cool and delivered perfection. Her triumph also underlines the increasing depth of women's hurdles, with Amusan, Stark, Russell, Williams, and now Kambundji all competing at elite levels. The event is in a golden era. Fans are witnessing races that are not only fast, but also fiercely contested. Ditaji Kambundji's career is just beginning to unfold. The obvious question is, how much faster can she go? Breaking into the sub-12.20 range would place her among the absolute elite, and with her current trajectory, it seems entirely possible. Her victory also raises expectations for future championships, including the 2027 Worlds and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. If she continues to progress, she could become one of the defining hurdlers of her generation. Her calm confidence, family legacy, and breakthrough performance make her story one of the most inspiring moments of the 2025 World Championships. For Switzerland, it's a golden chapter. For the sport, it's a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. Ditaji Kambundji didn't just win the race, she transformed it. And now, the world will be watching to see just how far this Swiss star can go.
Got company. Clayton going well to her side, but Melissa Jefferson streaks away in the closing stages. 10:61.
This 24-year-old girl from a small South Carolina town once put her athletic dreams on hold to save her father's life. 7 years later, she just ran the fourth fastest time in women's 100-meter history and absolutely destroyed the best sprinters on the planet. On Sunday night at the World Athletics Championships, Melissa Jefferson didn't just win the women's 100 meters. She completely destroyed the field with a performance that sent shockwaves through the athletics world. Running 10.61 seconds, she set a new championship record and became the fourth fastest woman in history. But this story goes way deeper than just fast times. 7 years ago, Jefferson made a choice that changed everything. When she was just 17, her father was diagnosed with a rare blood condition that threatened his life. Without hesitation, she stepped forward as a stem cell donor, putting her sporting dreams on hold for 2 years to save the man who raised her. That decision, made in a small seaport town called Georgetown in South Carolina, would shape the champion we saw dominating in Tokyo. Fast forward to 2025, and Jefferson entered these world championships as the hunter, not the hunted. She'd never won an individual global title before, despite winning bronze at the Paris Olympics and helping Team USA claim gold in the relay. All season long, she'd been perfect in the 100 meters. Not once had she lost. Not once had she even run slower than 11 seconds. The girl from Georgetown had turned herself into an unstoppable force. The build-up to Sunday's final was intense. Jefferson wasn't just running fast times randomly. She'd lowered her personal best by nearly 0.2 of a second this season after dealing with injuries in 2024. She'd completely changed her approach to training, working with a chef and even giving up her beloved Culver's burgers. Every detail mattered now. Standing in her way was a loaded field. Julian Alfred, the Olympic champion from St. Lucia, had been talking confidently about adding another gold to her collection. The defending world champion Sha'Carri Richardson was desperate to bounce back from a tough season. Jamaica's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the 38-year-old legend with 10 world sprint titles, was making her final individual appearance before retirement. And then there was 21-year-old Tina Clayton from Jamaica, representing the next generation of Caribbean sprinting. The semifinal showed us exactly what was coming. While Alfred looked comfortable posting the fastest qualifying time, Jefferson Wooden responded with the fastest semifinal time of 10.73, and she made it look easy. Richardson had her own drama, stumbling badly at the start and falling meters behind before using her famous top-end speed to qualify in third place. But Sunday's final belonged to one person from the moment the gun fired. Alfred actually had the fastest reaction time at 0.169 seconds, but something was wrong. She'd pulled her hamstring during warm-ups, and you could see it affecting her from the first few steps. Meanwhile, Jefferson Wooden exploded from the blocks like she'd been shot from a cannon. By the 50-meter mark, she was in complete control. What happened next was pure domination. Jefferson Wooden didn't just run away from the field, she floated away from them. As the race unfolded, it became clear that nobody was going to catch the American. She opened up a gap that kept growing with every stride. When Jefferson Wooden crossed the finish line, the numbers on the scoreboard told the whole story. 10.61 seconds, a new championship record, the fourth fastest time in history. She'd beat in second place by 0.15 seconds, which is a massive margin in sprinting. For context, that's the second biggest winning margin in World Championships history. After the race, Jefferson Wooden could barely contain her emotions. She admitted that once she got out ahead, the rest of the race felt like it went by in a blink of an eye. When she crossed the line, her first thought was simply, "Oh wow, I won." Then she saw her time and reality hit her. She'd just run 10.61 and become a world champion. The podium told the story of sprinting's changing landscape. Clayton took silver with a personal best of 10.76, becoming the youngest ever medalist in the women's 100 at a World Championships. At just 21, she proved that Jamaica's sprinting factory is still producing incredible talent. Alfred managed bronze despite her injury, running 10.84 and securing St. Lucia's first ever World Championships medal. Richardson, the defending champion, could only manage fifth place with 10.94. It was her first time under 11 seconds all season, but it wasn't nearly enough. Jackson finished fourth in 10.88, while the great Fraser-Pryce ended her individual career with sixth place in 11.03. The crowd gave the Jamaican legend the biggest cheers of the night as she was introduced, recognizing a true icon of the sport. What makes Jefferson Wooden's performance even more remarkable is the journey that brought her here. This is someone who describes herself as a village kid from Georgetown, South Carolina. She had just 2 partial college scholarship offers before making it to Coastal Carolina. When her father got sick, she didn't hesitate to put everything on hold to help save his life. That decision shaped who she became as both a person and an athlete. When asked about her mindset, Jefferson Wooden talks about discipline and doing the extra work needed to achieve your goals. She completely changed her lifestyle this season, working with a chef and focusing on every detail of her preparation. The numbers from her 2025 season are just incredible. She went undefeated in both the 100 and 200 meters. She had multiple races where she ran sub 10.8 times into strong headwinds. At the U.S. Championships, she ran 10.65 to equal what was then the 6th fastest time in history. She'd been building toward this moment all year. But success also brought challenges. Working with coach Dennis Mitchell, Jefferson Wooden faced criticism from some quarters. Her teammate Gabby Thomas had posted on social media that doping coaches should be banned for life, a clear reference to Mitchell's past issues with performance-enhancing drugs. When asked about these comments after her victory, Jefferson Wooden refused to engage with the controversy. She simply said she surrounds herself with people who believe in her and support her growth as an athlete. The performance in Tokyo puts Jefferson Wooden in rare company. She's now the fastest American woman alive, surpassing Carmelita Jeter on the all-time list. Only 3 women in history have run faster: Florence Griffith Joyner with her world record of 10.49, Elaine Thompson-Herah with 10.54, and Fraser Price with 10.60. When asked if she might one day chase Flojo's world record, Jefferson Wooden didn't rule it out, saying that Griffith Joyner has put a number out there that's definitely worth chasing. The same evening also saw Jamaica's Oblique Seville win the men's 100 in 9.77, with Usain Bolt watching from the stands as his countryman became the first Jamaican man to win a global 100-meter title since Bolt himself in 2015. It was a night that showcased both the past and future of sprinting. For Jefferson Wooden, this is just the beginning. She's entered in the 200 meters later this week, where she has the second fastest time in the world this year. She's aiming to become just the second woman in 30 years to complete the 100 to 200 double at a world championships. The last to do it was Fraser Price herself back in 2013. After years of being the hunter, Jefferson Wooden is now the hunted. But based on what we saw in Tokyo, that target might be exactly where she wants it. Georgetown, South Carolina, already named a day in her honor after the Olympics. They might need to make it a week after this performance. This wasn't just a victory, this was a statement that American sprinting has a new queen, and she's just getting started. Faith Kipyegon's powerful message is breaking the internet, but it's not just about medals. What she said could change the way young girls everywhere look at their future. Faith Kipyegon, the undisputed queen of middle-distance running, is heading to the Tokyo World Championships with history in her sights. Already a double Olympic and world champion, Kipyegon is chasing a rare and ambitious goal: to defend both her 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters titles, a feat no athlete has ever repeated at the world level. But for Kipyegon, Tokyo is about more than medals. Speaking to reporters ahead of the championships, she explained her philosophy simply. It's a mindset, also about preparation and being patient. It's all about what you want to achieve for the next generation to look up to you. For her, every stride is a message not just to competitors, but to young girls everywhere who see her as proof that dreams are worth chasing. From the start of her career, Kipyegon made it evident that she was not chasing short-term victories. Her training philosophy has always been rooted in consistency, not just bursts of brilliance. She believes that the difference between being good and being great is the mindset one brings to the track every single day. She has often repeated that success is not built overnight, it's a result of mental focus layered over years of work. That perspective has carried her to the very top of world athletics. Her mindset is not about chasing perfection, but about managing challenges with patience. In interviews leading up to Tokyo, she said that it takes years to reach the point where results reflect the work. She explained that even when form isn't perfect, or when a race doesn't go her way, she keeps faith in the process. That patience has been one of her strongest weapons, separating her from competitors who may look for instant results. Preparation is another cornerstone of her success. Faith Kipyegon does not train with the short-term goal of a single championship. Her preparation spans cycles carefully designed to peak when it matters most. She has spoken about how every run, every gym session, every recovery plan is mapped out with discipline. This preparation is not glamorous, but it is relentless. It's what allows her to line up at the start line knowing that she has done everything possible to be ready. The results of that preparation have been historic. In 2023, she set the 1,500-meter world record with a time of 3 minutes 48.68 seconds, a performance that stunned the athletics world. Breaking a barrier that had stood for years was not just about physical ability. It was the culmination of patience, training, and mindset aligning at the perfect moment. It was a record that validated her philosophy, proving that discipline pays off. But Faith Kipyegon is not defined by records alone. At the Nike Breaking 4 event, she attempted to run a sub-4-minute mile, something no woman has ever done. She crossed the line in 4:06, falling short of the barrier. Yet what stood out was not the result, but her response. Instead of disappointment, she spoke about the courage to attempt it and how trying itself pushes the sport forward. Her message was that failure does not define champions' attempts. By daring to try, she created belief not only in herself, but also in other women who will attempt the same milestone in the future. Her story is also defined by resilience off the track. After giving birth to her daughter, many doubted whether she could return to her best. Yet she came back stronger, adding more medals and records to her name. She has spoken openly about that journey, emphasizing that motherhood is not the end of a career, but another chapter that requires balance and patience.